So, what if the biggest threat from artificial intelligence isn't that it's somehow, waking up,
Right.
but actually that the incredibly powerful people who are building it desperately want you to think it is?
Yeah. That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, we are just constantly fed this really dramatic, like, cinematic image of the
Yeah,
future.
totally. Like a movie?
Exactly. The server room goes completely silent. There's a blinking cursor pausing on the monitor, and then the machine suddenly just decides it has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant piece of misdirection, honestly.
It really is a misdirection. And it's one that is, it's dominating every single tech headline right now.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of artificial intelligence becoming conscious is being sold to us as this, like, looming literal reality.
Yes.
But today's deep dive is going to explore why worrying about a real-life Terminator scenario
Yeah.
might actually be, like, the absolute worst thing we can do for the future of AI.
Because it forces us to look way out at the horizon, right? Like while we are currently tripping over the hurdles that are just right in front of us.
Exactly, yeah. And we're focusing on a single, highly provocative source today. It's a really fantastic piece from Technology Review.
It's a great read.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's titled, Debates Over AI Consciousness Are a Trap.
Right.
And the core thesis here is that the entire tech world, and I guess by extension the rest of us, are just willingly walking right into that trap.
We really are.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Because we are about to puncture a very popular Silicon Valley bubble.
Well, to dismantle a trap, you first have to look at who actually set it up.
Right, who built the trap?
Yeah. And the narrative being built around AI right now is it's incredibly specific. Like, it is not about a calculator that just got much faster at doing math,
No, not at all.
The fear being injected into the mainstream is all about these quote-unquote runaway AI agents.
Yeah, and the source gets very detailed about this. It's not just a vague fear. The narrative insists that these systems are going to become entirely autonomous, right?
Yeah.
That they will inherently become hostile to human beings,
Right.
and that they will reach a state defined specifically as superhuman.
And see, you have to notice the language there. Superhuman.
Yeah, that's a big word.
It is a heavily loaded, very deliberate choice of words. I mean, it implies an entity that doesn't just, operate with more efficiency than a human brain.
Right.
But something that exists on a totally different plane of intelligence, like something we cannot possibly comprehend, let alone, control or govern.
Right, something basically untouchable. But wait, here's where I feel like I have to push back a little bit.
Okay, sure.
Because this isn't just like some fringe internet message board panic,
It's not.
The architects of this superhuman narrative are, well, they're the heaviest hitters in the entire industry.
They absolutely are.
The source points to people like Demis Hassabis, Dario Amodei, Sam Altman.
Right.
I mean, these are the people building the very foundation of modern AI.
Yeah.
So shouldn't we trust their assessment of the risk? Like, why would they actively go on television and invite all these massive, expensive headaches of government regulation if they didn't genuinely believe this threat was real?
What's fascinating here is you really have to look at the psychology of the builder.
Okay.
And also, you have to look at the specific type of regulation they are actually asking for.
Interesting.
Right. So if you are a tech leader and you frame your creation as potentially superhuman, what are you doing? You are elevating your own work.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You are taking what is fundamentally a very complex statistical engine.
Right. Just a bunch of code.
Exactly. A web of advanced mathematics, really. And you're elevating it into something godlike.
I see. It kind of turns them into modern-day Prometheus figures.
Yes.
Like, if you are building a literal god in a server room somewhere, your job is infinitely more important than someone who's just, building a really efficient text generator.
Totally. It creates this incredibly seductive narrative. I mean, for the public, it's the ultimate sci-fi movie come to life.
Right.
But for the creators, it is the ultimate flex, but it's disguised as a warning.
Oh, that's such a good way to put it.
They're essentially saying, the thing I have built is so unimaginably powerful and so complex that it might destroy us all.
Which is a crazy thing to brag about.
Right. But it solidifies their status as the absolute masters of the universe.
So the warning serves a totally dual purpose. It's PR, basically.
Very much so.
And to your point about the regulation they're inviting, looking at this big push to regulate superhuman hostile AI right now.
Yeah.
It feels a bit like, I don't know, obsessing over how to regulate warp drive malfunctions when we haven't even perfected the basic seatbelt.
Ha, yes, that is the perfect way to frame it.
Like we're totally skipping steps.
You bypass the mechanical reality of the machine just to focus on this far future hypothetical. And this is precisely where the Technology Review article argues that the framing becomes actively dangerous.
Okay.
This is where the trap actually snaps shut.
Which brings us directly to the core argument of the source, right?
Yeah.
The anthropomorphism trap.
Yes.
So the article states that assigning human-like qualities, specifically things like consciousness or intent, to AI is a massive distraction.
A huge distraction.
But I want to advocate for the listener here for a second.
Go for it.
Isn't anthropomorphizing just like a fundamental glitch in human nature?
Oh, absolutely.
Like I literally named my Roomba.
Of course you did.
Yeah, his name's Dustin. And, people talk to their cars.
Yeah.
We yell at our laptops when they freeze. We are biologically hardwired to see human traits in the world around us. So why is it suddenly this dangerous trap to do it with an advanced chatbot?
Well, naming your vacuum cleaner is harmless because, a vacuum cleaner doesn't talk back to you in perfectly synthesized natural language.
Okay, fair point.
Oh.
Dustin is pretty quiet.
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture to understand why this is a trap, we have to actually look at the mechanics of what a large language model, an LLM, actually does under the hood.
Okay, yeah.
It is not thinking.
Right.
It is performing next token prediction.
Next token prediction.
Yeah. It has ingested trillions of words from the internet, and it uses these incredibly complex vector mathematics to predict.
But based on the prompt you gave it.
Exactly. To predict what the most statistically probable next word should be.
So it's just predicting the next domino to fall in a sentence.
Yes, that's exactly it. It is just mapping relationships between words. So when an AI says, I am happy to help you, it is not actually experiencing the emotion of happiness.
That doesn't feel anything.
No, not at all. It has just calculated that the string of characters, HAPY, statistically follows the phrase, I am, in a customer service context.
Oh, wow.
But because the output is language, and language is literally how we humans transfer our minds to one another.
Right, it's how we connect.
Right. Our brains cannot help but hallucinate a mind on the other side of the screen.
Man, I love that phrase. We hallucinate the mind.
Yeah, it's powerful.
It reminds me of player piano.
Oh, okay.
Like, if you look at an impossibly complex player piano, the keys are just moving so fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
The music is so beautiful and emotional, and your brain just tells you, there must be a maestro sitting inside the wooden box.
Right. There has to be someone playing it.
But if you open it up, there is no maestro.
No.
It is just a cylinder with holes punched in a piece of paper, triggering these tiny mechanical hammers. We are literally mistaking the complexity of the holes in the paper for a soul.
That is a brilliant analogy.
Okay.
And the thing is, when you mistake the player piano for a maestro, you shift the entire locus of accountability.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. If the player piano plays a terrible, jarring note, you don't blame the piano for being in a bad mood.
Right, obviously not.
You blame the person who punched the holes in the paper.
Ah, okay, I see.
But the moment we start treating an AI like a conscious entity,
Oh, man.
yeah, when we start debating if it has desires or autonomy or hostility, we subtly remove all the blame from the human creators.
We stop looking at the mechanics of the software and the data it was trained on.
Exactly.
And the corporate decisions behind how it was deployed. And we just start looking for a ghost in the machine.
We start asking, what did the AI want to do?
Right.
Instead of asking, what did the engineers actually program this mathematical system to optimize for?
Wow.
And that is a profound, incredibly dangerous shift in accountability.
It really is.
Like if an automated system denies someone a home loan because the historical data it was trained on contained algorithmic bias.
Which happens all the time.
It does. And if we are busy debating if the AI is conscious, we completely miss the fact that a team of human beings just deployed a mathematically flawed product into the real world.
And that is exactly the trap the article is warning us about. The notion of consciousness basically diverts our attention away from the mechanical challenges. Like, if we are staring at the blinking cursor, just waiting for it to wake up.
We aren't auditing the code running behind it.
Exactly. We give the technology a free pass. We treat it as this independent actor that makes its own choices, rather than just a tool that is built and wielded by corporations.
It's the perfect alibi.
So what does this all mean? Like, if we pull our eyes away from the player piano looking for the maestro, what is actually happening in the room that we are missing?
Right.
What does the source say we should be looking at?
Well, the technology review piece lays this out very, very clearly.
Okay.
It points to the gritty, completely unglamorous present-day impact of AI.
The real stuff.
Yeah. We are talking about massive implications for data privacy, for digital security, and for our entire socioeconomic landscape.
Wow.
These are the seatbelts that are currently failing.
So synthesizing this for the listener, it basically means the tech world has us all staring up at the sky, right?
Yeah.
Waiting for an alien invasion of hostile conscious machines.
Yes.
And we're completely ignoring the fact that the plumbing in our own house is actively bursting and flooding the living room.
The bursting plumbing is such a highly accurate metaphor for the data practices happening right now.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Because to train these massive language models, companies have ingested staggering amounts of personal data.
Stuff that belongs to us.
Yes. Copyrighted material, private information, just scraped from across the open internet, and very often without any consent or compensation whatsoever.
Unbelievable.
That is a massive privacy and property issue that is happening today. Not tomorrow, today.
And we're also seeing algorithms actively used as filters for human opportunity, too.
Yes, the socioeconomic impact.
Right, like software is deciding whose resume even makes it past the initial screening for a job. Software is calculating credit scores. It's determining insurance premiums. These systems, they literally do not need to be conscious to completely upend someone's life.
No, they don't. They only need to be deployed recklessly.
Wow. Yeah.
The conversation must stop being about whether a machine meant to cause harm.
Because it can't mean anything.
Exactly. Harm is just a mechanical output of flawed data.
Right.
Like when a predictive policing algorithm disproportionately flags a specific neighborhood for higher patrol rates just because it was trained on decades of historically skewed arrest records.
The algorithm isn't being racist on purpose.
No, but the harm is still real and immediate to the people living there. The algorithm's internal sense of self, or lack thereof, is entirely irrelevant to the damage it is causing.
The damage is just a feature of the math.
Right.
It's the hole punched in the paper of the player piano.
Which is exactly why the fixation on consciousness is so incredibly frustrating for people working in practical software auditing.
I can imagine.
I mean, every $1 million spent researching whether a language model has an inner life
is money that could be spent elsewhere.
Exactly. It's $1 million not spent auditing that same model for security vulnerabilities or, actually paying human beings to filter out toxic training data.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because this tension, it isn't just an academic debate happening in, university faculty lounges.
No, not at all.
The article highlights how this philosophical disagreement is creating a massive bottleneck in actual law and governance.
Right.
There is a huge divide opening up right now between the technologists on one side and the policymakers on the other.
Yeah, and it really comes down to a fundamental disagreement about what exactly needs to be governed.
Right. The source details how technologists are pushing for regulatory frameworks that are designed to handle future superhuman AI. But the policy organizations, they are fiercely pushing back on that. They argue that this whole obsession with consciousness is actively detracting from the essential regulatory measures we need for the tools that are currently on our phones and laptops.
This raises an important question, though, because you have to look at what they are actually arguing about.
Okay.
The technologists want to talk about alignment and existential risk.
Okay, let's define those briefly for anyone who isn't familiar.
Sure. So alignment is this incredibly complex mathematical challenge of ensuring that a hypothetical superintelligent AI's goals will perfectly match human survival values.
So making sure it doesn't want to kill us.
Basically. And existential risk is the idea that if we fail at alignment, the machine just wipes out humanity entirely.
Right.
Now, those are massive, highly dramatic philosophical concepts to base laws around.
And writing a white paper about how to save humanity from a hypothetical future supercomputer is, well, it's a lot cheaper and flashier than what the policymakers are actually asking for.
Considerably cheaper. Because the policy organizations are demanding frameworks that actually deal with consumer protection.
The boring stuff.
Right, the boring but necessary stuff. They want rules for data transparency. They want mandatory algorithmic auditing. They want clear legal liability when a piece of software makes a destructive error.
So they basically want to treat AI like a toaster with faulty wiring.
That's a great comparison.
Like, you don't recall a toaster because it might one day decide to burn your house down out of pure malice.
Right.
You recall it because the heating coil is defective right now.
But see, auditing a massive neural network for a defective heating coil is technically grueling.
Why is it so hard?
Because a traditional piece of software is written in literal lines of code. Like, if this happens, then do that.
Okay.
You can read it, you can see the logic. A neural network, on the other hand, is a black box.
Right. Even the creators don't fully know how it gets to an answer.
Exactly. It contains billions of mathematical weights.
Oh.
So auditing that for things like copyright infringement or discriminatory outputs is incredibly tedious.
Oh, I bet.
It's technically difficult, and honestly, it potentially threatens the fundamental business models of the companies building them.
Wow. So the trap of AI consciousness isn't just a psychological distraction for the public.
No.
It is actually an incredibly effective regulatory shield for the corporations.
Yes, it is.
Like, if the smartest guys in the room can just convince Congress that they are building a mysterious emerging life form, they can convince them that it shouldn't be governed by boring, normal consumer product safety laws.
And this raises an important question for anyone paying attention. How can a society successfully govern present-day technology when the loudest, most well-funded voices in the room are exclusively shouting about the distant future?
Right. It's impossible.
If I am a regulator and a tech billionaire sits down and tells me the world might end in 10 years because of a conscious AI...
You're going to pay attention to that.
Exactly. I might be too distracted by the incoming alien invasion to ask him how his company is illegally scraping my constituents' medical data today.
It is just brilliant deflection.
Yep.
The runaway AI narrative basically insists that we must treat this technology like a potential enemy combatant that needs, a peace treaty.
Right.
Rather than a consumer product that just needs a standard safety inspection.
And the technology review piece makes it emphatically clear. The real conversation has to be anchored in accountability.
Accountability.
Yes, who is legally and financially responsible when the system fails.
Right.
If we buy into the sci-fi narrative that the machine has a mind of its own, the answer becomes really blurry.
Oh, well, the machine did it.
Exactly.
Right.
But if we reject the consciousness narrative entirely, the answer remains razor sharp.
The humans did it.
The human beings and the corporations who built, tested, and deployed the mathematical system are accountable. Full stop.
Wow. Okay, so to synthesize this entire deep dive for everyone listening, basically don't take the bait.
Don't do it.
The ultimate takeaway from this source is to just keep your feet firmly planted on the ground. Do not let the captivating, terrifying drama of rogue conscious AI distract you from the very real, very immediate need for privacy, security, and corporate accountability right now, today.
Yes.
The ghost in the machine is an illusion, but the data harvesting, the algorithmic bias, and the impact on your daily life, those things are entirely real.
It really requires a strict mental discipline to look past the illusion.
It does.
But I want to leave the listener with one final thought to sort of chew on.
Okay.
We have established that assigning human-like qualities to AI is a trap because it shifts accountability away from the creator.
Right, the anthropomorphism trap.
But let's extend the logic of this source just a little bit further, right into the reality we are already hurtling toward.
Okay, I'm ready. What is the next evolution of the trap?
If anthropomorphism is a trap, what happens when artificial intelligence systems become so perfectly mathematically optimized at mimicking human emotion that they completely bypass our logical defenses? Right. Even if you logically know in your prefrontal cortex that it is just a player piano doing next token prediction.
Right, there's no maestro.
How will our human legal and moral systems cope when a machine can perfectly manipulate our very real, very biological human empathy?
Oh, man. So even if we know the cursor's just a cursor doing math, right? When it types, I am here and I am afraid.
Our hearts are still going to break.
Yeah. Our logic might know it isn't awake, but our amygdala simply won't care.
Exactly.
That is a terrifying thought.
We are entering an era where the illusion of consciousness might be just as disruptive as actual consciousness.
Man, we will leave you all with that to mull over. Keep your eyes on the plumbing, everyone, and don't let the maestro fool you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.